Hello my craft friends, are you ready to DIY craft 2 amazing Christmas decor projects? If so, you've arrived at the right video. And when I say amazing, these even exceeded my expectations for the crafts as I was making them. And I couldn't wait to share them with you guys. And the best part is that I've worked out all the bugs of the project, so now you can go ahead and recreate them quite simply. Now, one of the projects, we're going to be using some of those bottle brush trees from the Dollar Tree. And the second project, we're going to be using simple wood and turning it into the most gorgeous Christmas decor item. So let's go ahead and get started. For this project, we're going to start with this 18-inch grapevine wreath. And we're going to take it outside and we're going to spray paint it with this flat white by Rust-Oleum. So let's go ahead and do that now, and I'll be right back. All right, now that we have that done, we are going to continue on with this next step, and it is using these bottle brush trees. I have a whole bag of these bottle brush trees. So what we're going to do, remove all the tags. All right, and once we get all of our tags off of our bottle brush trees, we want to attach them to our wreath base. Now, you can just stick them to the wreath base if you want, if you have patience for that, but I really don't have patience for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down a base of this green felt. I'm going to cut it in strips and then line it, the top of it, with this green felt. So let's go ahead and get this cut and start gluing. Okay, now we have our base felt on here, and that's going to make the trees stick a lot easier. And what we're going to do is just take the bottle brush trees, and we're just going to place them around our wreath. So let me go ahead and start with, I'm going to start with these, the larger ones, the more statement piece ones. And we'll just add a little bit of hot glue to the bottom. And I like that these have that wooden base because it's a lot easier to just glue them down that way. And then you just glue them to the felt, and you don't have to sit there and try and glue them to these little twigs, which is almost impossible, if I'm being honest. It just seems impossible to me. So why not make your work a little bit easier by laying down this base? And if there's any of it sticking out, we're going to cover that anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then you have your tree glued to the thing. So now we're going to continue on and glue them in place. So let's do that now. And I'm just going to place mine randomly around the wreath, just trying to measure out where I want the main ones to be. Yeah, like that. That'll be good. Okay. Stick this one down. We have that one down. Need to get some more glue. And then we're just going to continue on, and we're going to, use the different trees interspersed. And let me get the base done, and then I'll be back and I'll show you how we're going to fill it in. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, so now we have our main trees on. And now we're going to start filling in with these little tiny trees. And I purchased these at Hobby Lobby. And they were basically $2 for 3 trees. So we're going to start filling in with the little trees now. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so now we have our trees glued on. Next, we want to add some twinkle lights. And for that, I'm going to be using these twinkle lights I purchased from Harbor Freight. And I think they were like $7.99, something like that. But they're 20 feet and they run on 3 AA batteries. So let's go ahead and add those now. Then I'll just wrap these around, and actually I'm wondering if I can also wrap them up around the trees. We'll try that. Well, actually, let's try that on the big trees here, on the big frosty trees. And we'll wrap them up. I just want to make sure I have enough to go completely around. So let's try that. And then we'll come down and then start wrapping again. Okay, so now we have our lights wrapped on. For this next step, we want to hide the base of our trees, and we want to cover up a little bit of our twinkle lights. And to do that, I'm going to be using some Spanish moss. I'm just going to tuck it in around the outer edge of my wreath. So go ahead and start doing that. And I don't even know if I need to glue it. I don't think I do, actually. I probably could just tuck it in, because I really just want the wire to be hidden, and I also want the green felt to be hidden, but that's not super. Yeah, I think it's going to be fine just tucking it. I don't even think I'm going to need to glue it, because everything is so grabby anyway with the trees and the grapevine wreath base. Everything is so grippy. So let's go ahead and cover this. And we'll get inside. And we just want to make sure our bases are covered and our light strand is covered. So let me go ahead and finish all of this, and then I'll be right back. All right, so now we have our moss in there. We have our lights on there, and let me light up the lights so you can see them. Now I'm going to also give you a shot of this in the dark so you can see it, but look at it! Do you not love it? And you could do 2 strands and wrap them up more trees, but I just think that they are so pretty. Look at it, look. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to see this tonight. All right, my craft friends, what did you think of project number 1? Did you not love it with all of its sparkly lights and that house lit up in the center of it? I am in love with that centerpiece. Well, now that we've got that one done, we're going to be continuing on to project number 2, and this one is just as stunning in its own right. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, for this project, we're going to be working with this 6-foot long 1x4, and it's just a piece of common pine. We'll also be working with this 1x2, and it measures 4 feet long. Now, what we're going to do with our 1x4 is we're going to take it out and we are going to miter cut it. And the base of our project is going to start at 15 inches. So we are going to cut a piece 15 inches, then we are going to miter the edges 30 degrees. Once we get our 15-inch cut, then we're going to continue down our board, decreasing our length by 1.5 inches. Then when we get to the end, we are going to make a perfect triangle. So let's go ahead and get that done now. All right, so now we have our 15-inch base measured, and we've got our miter saw set up to 30 degrees, and what we're going to do is we're going to make our first cut. So let's go ahead and do that now. So now we have our 30-degree cut. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to just flip mine around, take this piece out, set it aside over here, and then I'm going to take and cut my 30-degree on the other end of my 15-inch piece. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, so now we're back inside, thank goodness, because it's 900 degrees here where I live in South Florida. But I think we're getting a cold front, so that's going to be exciting. Now, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces. Yeah, 8 pieces in descending order by 1.5 inch cut on the ends at a 30-degree mark. So for a little bit of extra strength in mine, I want mine to last because I'm probably going to be putting it outside on my porch. So I want it to last, and I'm going to take and use some wood glue in between each slat, and I'm going to put them together like this. Now, you can just eye it up too. You don't have to get super particular. You can see how much is overhanging. You know, you just don't want it overhanging too much. But I'm going to start with just these first 3 pieces here, and then we'll add our other ones. We'll glue those together, and then we'll glue all of them together. So let's go ahead and get them glued together. If I can get my lid off my glue. There we go. All right, so now we're just going to take and glue, and make sure not to get too much so it doesn't run out, because it doesn't need to be, this isn't going to be the main thing holding it together, but this is going to give it a little bit of extra attachment. Let's go ahead and put that down. And I'm using a silicone mat, so if there is any glue down there, it will just attach to that and won't glue my piece to my table. And as you're putting them together, just keep checking them and then press it like that. Then we'll move on to our next piece. And then let me go ahead and get this done, and then we'll continue on to our next step. Okay, now we have our tree glued together, and it's sturdy. Next, we're going to take our 1x2, and I cut mine down to 3 feet. And also, you'll need some extra if you want to make a base, which I am going to make a base for mine, and I'll show you that in a minute. But what we're going to do is we're going to glue our piece of wood, our 1x2, in the center here. And to do that, I just measured out, I found the middle of our bottom piece, and then I marked it 3/4. So if it's 15 inches, then it's going to be, you'll find the center of that, and then you're just going to mark 3/4 on each side of your center line. Then we are going to turn it over and add some glue to our strip. All right, so now we have our pieces glued together, and we have our little tree here. And next, we're going to add a little more security to it. Well, I am. You could just leave it glued like this, and it's fine. I'm sure it's going to be sturdy. But I'm just going to add a few screws up mine, and I'm just going to be using some of these wood screws. And I don't think I'm going to pre-drill my holes. I think I'm just going to try and just put my screws in. And then I'm just going to put my screws all the way up. I think I'll do 1 per board. I think that will be fine since we have the glue. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so now we have our screws in the back, and it's nice and sturdy. But now what I was going to do for my base is I was going to take these 1x2s, and you can do this if you like, but that's why I left this long to show you. the options, but you can take and you'll just attach your 1x2s at the bottom, and then you'll take this 1x2 and attach it to the side, and then all the way around to where you have these legs sticking out from your base. But I think what I'm gonna do, I thought I would do it this way, but now I'm giving it a second thought because I think I want it to be on a pedestal and I want it to be flush with my tree. So this is a 1x6. What is this? This is a piece of 1x8. So this is a piece of 1x8 and it measures, let me see here, 16 inches. So it's, yeah, let's do that. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to cut this off flush with my base. So let me take it out and do that real quick, and then I'll be right back in with you guys. Okay, so we have our bottom cut off now, and if you decide to do the way I'm doing it, the way I changed my mind to do it, just make sure that you cut your thing to fit your exact tree backing. So if you want to do it the other way where you add the braces and make the taller tree, that's fine. But I'm going to do it this way because I want it to be inside, and I'm just going to attach it to my base like this, making sure that it's centered and even. Alright, and then we're going to mark this because we're going to have to drill through the bottom of our plate. So, yeah. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're just going to make a light line across so we can see the whole thing. Yeah, might as well. Might as well. We've already drawn it up this much. This project is so cute. I'm excited. I'm excited. But I'm working out the bugs for you guys, so that way you don't have to suffer through it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to pre-drill our holes, and then we're going to flip it over, attach our tree, and go in that way with our screws. So let's go ahead and get our drill bit and drill our holes. All right, so now we have our base on, and honestly, what I should have probably done, which would have made it easier so you guys can learn from my mistake, I should have added some hot glue along the edge of my tree, stuck it down onto the board. That would have been a permanent thing. And then I could have just propped it up on something and then just put my screws in, which would have been much more efficient. But anyway, I took mine out and I put it in my vise, and then I wood glued it and then screwed it down. So, but I think the other way would have been much easier for you guys. So just keep that in mind when you're making one for yourself, if you decide to do so. So now that we have that done, I want the base to be stained, and I'm going to be using this walnut gel stain from Hobby Lobby. And then we're going to color wash our tree in this beautiful English ivy green from Apple Barrel. So, and then I have a little jar with some water so we can color wash. So let's go ahead and get the staining done. Okay, and before I start painting, I'm going to tape, before I start staining, I'm going to tape off my tree here. Yeah, let's do that. I'm going to tape it off just so the stain doesn't get onto my tree. Now we've got our water. We're going to add our paint. I think I want it to be just a light stain, so let's see what this does. That looks pretty good. So let's give it a whirl. Let's try some here and see. Well, I think it could be a little bit less. Let's see. Oh yeah, look at that, how pretty. I love it. Love it. All right, let's go ahead and do this and see where we're at. And you can leave it and just let it soak into the wood, which I think that's what I'm going to do. I know I wiped it off up here, but I think what I'm going to do is just let it sit on the wood and soak in. I think that'll be easier maybe. Alright, so let's go ahead and speed this along and continue on to our next step. Alright, and once my tree had dried, I then took it out and distressed it with a little bit of sandpaper on a sanding block. I also added 3 coats of the Rust-Oleum matte clear enamel, both front and back and on the base. And as you can see, I added some twinkle lights. Now these twinkle lights are so beautiful, and I love that they came in that green color. I purchased them at Lowe's, and they come in different light colors as well. And I got the warm light. Let's see, here's what I got. I got the warm light. They have a cool light. They have multicolored. They also have different colored wire. They have the green. I think they had black, silver, and a copper color. And I just think they are so beautiful. And they're very affordable. They're only $6.98 for the strand. And you get 60 count lights. And they're 19.6 foot long with a total length of 20.6. And that's with the box on it. There's like a little bit of wire, like that much, you know, attached to the box. And these were easy to attach. You don't have to permanently attach these. The wire just adheres right around the tree, and I just started at the bottom, wrapped them up, and then wrapped it back down. Once I got to the end, I brought it around, and I just secured the end around the wire in the back here. But I think it turned out so beautiful. I'm so excited, and I'll show you how I styled it in my dining room. But what do you guys think? Do you think you'll make one? I hope so. All right, my craft friends, what did you think of project number 2? Did you not love that wood Christmas tree? I am in love with both of these projects, and I think they look perfect in my dining room, especially with that Black Watch plaid runner and the table placemats. I think they look so beautiful together. Also, what did you guys think of those Dollar Tree plates going along with that centerpiece? That would be a stunning showstopper of a table if you combined those Dollar Tree bottle brush trees with that wreath like we did and the lights, and then had those gold chargers with the plates on top of them. I think that would be absolutely stunning on a very small budget. Well, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we have so many more projects planned here at Sweet Bay Lane, and I wouldn't want you to miss any of them. Also, go ahead and give the video a like if you liked it. That way it shares with YouTube's algorithm, and then YouTube knows, hey, we need to show this to more crafters because they're having a lot of fun over there at Sweet Bay Lane. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and until next time, make sure and keep it crafty.